Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Take the Lead series, where we engage thought leaders across various organizations who we believe have done some really great work, something which our audience on the LinkedIn platform can learn from, especially in these times of economic uncertainty. Like every year, last December, LinkedIn editors asked our community of top voices and creators to share the big ideas that they believe will define the year ahead. As we are all cognizant of the challenges we foresee on several fronts, some existing and some new, we're reaching out to business leaders to share their thoughts on where we go on from here. What we have shared on LinkedIn is by no means a complete list, nor does it have to resonate with all, as everyone's big idea going into 2023 can be very different, which is why we have invited Kaustubh Chandra, Chief Marketing Officer and SVP Digital Sales Group, Airtel Business, to join us today to share what big ideas does he think will emerge in his business in 2023. Kaustubh has nearly 2 decades of experience in the IT and telecom sector and has been recognized as the top 10 CMOs in the country by Startup Planes. He was also awarded the Inspiring Award, the Marketing Person of the Year at NTT Global Marketing Summit 2021. Among many other accolades. Hi, Kaustubh. Great to have you with us.
Hey, thanks, Abhay. Thank you so much. Pleasure to be here, and thanks for having me.
I'll start, Kaustubh. So as the theme suggests, and we've talked about the big ideas, I'll start by asking you, what's your topmost big idea for 2023 and why would you prioritize that?
Abhay, this year is going to be really taking the whole growth marketing as the, which has been the agenda as Airtel and as well as Airtel Business. I think growth has always been at the core of whatever we do, and that's the reason why we have been, the way that really shows in our performances as well. And I think marketing is really looked upon in this organization very clearly as a function which really needs to lead the growth agenda and take it to the next level. And from a B2B standpoint, I think that's something which is very exciting. That has been extremely exciting for me, as a marketer. Right. And this year is when we are going to literally push the pedal on the whole growth agenda and, take a step back, reinvent ourselves, and then literally go all out and make it happen for Airtel Business and Airtel.
Thank you so much, Kaustubh. I think as a sales leader myself, this is one thing that I've always talked to my team members, driving growth. And India as an economy, you would see has been the one that is being the spotlight across the globe for everything that we're doing. So I'm really excited when I hear positive sentiments come out from leaders like you on what the future holds for this business and the country. So my next question is, how important do you think is bringing sales and marketing teams together? And what specific gaps do you think are there which you're trying to bridge in this year?
See, for us, the way we look at marketing is, and especially when we talk about growth marketing, is it's not just about the performance side of the marketing, but it's really looking at the entire marketing as a function in its totality, right? It is, this is really when you really have all the different parts of marketing really coming together and working in tandem to really push the whole growth agenda, right? And how does that happen? So, for example, everyone has been talking about, today content is the king, and content always has been the king, right? 4 things which we really look at. One is storytelling has to be right up there, right? How do you really build the story? How do you really bring out the whole, the whole brand promise and the purpose and all of that? And at the same time, really talk about how you're helping your clients. That really what the whole storytelling is all about. And how do you really take that story and then amplify it using multiple channels and not just from a dem gen point of view, but also from a, creating that air cover, which really what your, some of the pieces like your PR, media, social media, and some of those things create and do for us. And then you have this ground support. This is how we define it. There is an air cover which we create. Then there is a, which is supported by a lot of groundwork, which, in the form of offline events, in the form of customer workshops, in the form of digital campaigns, so on and so forth. And then there is an insight layer in between, which really makes sure that your target, you're going out to the right customer, you're taking the right message to the right customer, and so on and so forth. Now, in all of this, then there is a part of marketing which needs to take all these responses which is coming out of this entire ecosystem, and how will will get converted into ultimately a lead. And you as a sales leader, this you would really love it when I'm going to say it, that marketing's job is not just to create a lead. Marketing's job, or a response, or our job is to literally capture the response, the intent, and our next job, next part of the job is to literally go down and convert those leads into the real conversation. And then that's when get your sales team, attached to it, bring them in, and then pass it on, and then help them further also in the entire sales journey. So the way I see it, the way we as Airtel Business see marketing is that our job is to literally do all of that which as a marketing team we have to do, but our job doesn't stand at a response or a click rate, right? It really goes beyond that, wherein we are responsible for generating 20% of, contributing 20% of the revenue, right? That's how I measure myself, that's how I get measured, that's how I measure my team.
I see a lot of people that I speak to today have this definite idea of identifying the right accounts and going after the right products and solutions with them. This is something that you touched upon. Despite that, you believe that the quality of leads is a challenge that's happening, and that's something that we're seeing resonating with a lot of clients that come back to us. And the quality of leads is probably something which is taking a toll. One of the biggest ideas that LinkedIn came up with, which is very close to what I believe, is making sure that you're helping build relationships and you're measuring that as a key KPI. So it's just not about targeting the right account with the right solution, but also thinking ahead of time and building relationships. Do you have any thoughts around how your teams are thinking about building relationships while you're going into this motion of DSG?
Right. In enterprise itself, the kind of length and breadth of the portfolio as Airtel Business I have today, I literally go and talk to the entire C-suite of an organization, because that's the kind of portfolio we have built over a period of time. Now, the leads across the board can never be the same, right? And what we have, done in last 1 year especially, and I have to thank LinkedIn, you and your team as well. The way, and I'm going to call out Medha really strongly here, because I think the way, one of the very key part to the way we have changed the way we are doing things is also introducing, LSN, LinkedIn Sales Navigator, and start integrating it in the DNA of the way we have been working. Now that's something which has started working. Apart from, obviously, there are other tools which we have identified, which we have tested, and then we figured out, okay, this is how this entire ecosystem which we are building from from that perspective. Obviously, so that's one part of it. So leads can never be 100%, right? As a marketer, we have to just accept the fact that leads cannot be 100%. We have to keep inventing ourselves, reinventing ourselves, going back to the drawing board, and keep thinking and keep improving on that, right? Because something which has worked last month might not work this month, right? And that's why the inciting tools, the whole, there are new tools with a lot of AI and ML, integrated into it, with, which you can leverage. But ultimately, you need to have somebody who really literally take all those information and, go out and, talk to the customer, right? And talk to them about their problems and identifying the kind of, challenges they're facing, and then go and, take the whole sales conversation. It gets open like anything, right? You mentioned about digital sales group, right? This is a remote team sitting in different parts of the country or at one place. Still, the beauty of this is that they have to be sitting at one place, but still making sure that reaching out to the clients at the right time, on a regular basis. And for that you need tools, and there are tools available. But how these tools are going to help us is something which is totally up to us. And I think that's exactly what's happening. And to be honest with you, where we were a year back, I think we definitely have moved the needle, but still long way to go.
Kaustubh, as we all know, post-COVID, the world is moving towards a hybrid environment, right? What are your thoughts on both offline and online marketing engagements and how they're coming together for DSG?
Hybrid work is no more imagination away, right? And we are living in that world now, right? So it's very much here and now. When it comes to the whole offline and the online piece, I think they have to coexist, and they have to coexist extremely well. And as marketers, I very strongly feel that it is our responsibility to look at, we cannot be just thinking, okay, now I have to do everything virtual, because let's be honest about it, there is a fatigue which has been created in last 2.5 years, right? That's exactly what has happened. Now, thankfully, now we are back in the offices, we are out, there are events happening. I think now is a great opportunity for us as a marketer to really bring in both offline events. So for example, like your fireside chats, a very small round tables which you do with very, very targeted audience, which is then followed by a very, very focused ABN campaign, or maybe the ABN campaign sits on the top and followed by somewhere you're bringing in the whole, a very small group discussion and so on and so forth. This needs to be, we need to really bring it together. We need to bring it in such a way which ultimately will actually, if you look at it, let me just quickly take a step back and I'll tell you, for example, today, there are things which we can only do virtually, but then there are things, and you mentioned about relationships, right? That's virtually, you can only build that much. And yes, people can come back and say that last 2 years things have happened and everything has moved and all that. That also happened because there were no other ways and means, right? Today that has changed. And that's why it's really important to make sure that you as a marketer keep on thinking about your face-to-face or offline, activities, campaigns, which are, and then, very well supported by the whole virtual and the digital piece.
Now, and you bring about an interesting point. Sales is never an isolated sport; it's a team sport, and divide and conquer is been a successful mantra for a lot of large organizations. Kaustubh, it was a pleasure to have you with us today, and I'm certainly the audience on the platform will find this conversation very meaningful. Thank you so much for this lovely chat, and all the best for the coming fiscal year for DSG.
Thank you so much, Aved. Thanks a lot, and thanks for having me once again. And it was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.